Star Trek 57, M23, take 2.
It's the It's Got Star Trek podcast.
Oh my god, are you replacing me? Oh, do you know how hacky that is? Yes, and I don't care. How do I look? Cute, which sucks. What's your problem? We're better than this. Exactly. Meeting you just reminded me of how good I used to have it. I tried to clean up my act, but over time, it just turned me into everything I hate. I want to go back to being a loose cannon who tells her superiors to f*** off again. Hey, you don't have to swap with me to do that. You could just, be normal about it. I don't know why you're so upset. You're about to be a captain. You think you know how to do it right? Now's your chance. I don't want to be captain. Well, tough. And you're welcome. Don't you give me that sarcastic Vulcan salute. Back it! So that's how that feels.
Hey, Dan, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, Jesse, you ready? All right, Jesse's ready. He's got his kalimba. Dan is ready. He's cleared his throat. I'm ready. I'm going to push the button that says we've started. And there we go. It's official. We have started the podcast. Hello.
It's here.
All right. By that, I'm sure Dan is referring to the 5th season premiere of Lower Decks, Star Trek.
How
Lower
bad,
Decks.
party people? What's the mish?
Okay, we've got a lot to talk about tonight, so we're going to be quick about it. Quick about all this beginning stuff. So first, hello, welcome to the It's Got Star Trek podcast.
This thing's basically held together with spit and string.
Yes. Very good, Dan. Very good. This is episode 262 of the It's Got Star Trek podcast, and we welcome you.
That's what I have, too.
And specifically, we want to welcome all the inevitable new listeners because
I love it!
because every time we start weekly coverage of a new season of Star Trek, there are new listeners, a huge influx of new listeners. Now,
You know, they say the mere sight of it is an aphrodisiac.
they don't necessarily stick around for the rest of the season. We'll see.
No.
Oh, no.
No, they don't.
I think they do.
But they'll
Somebody
at least
does.
check out this episode. So welcome, all you new listeners. Temporary, though some of you may be. But you're like, what's going on? What's this It's Got Star
What's
Trek
going
podcast?
on?
I'm going to try it out. I'm going to try it out and listen to this. Listen to their coverage of Lower Decks Season 5.
How about I f***ing don't?
Well, okay. So, by way of introduction, this is the It's Got Star Trek podcast. It is a Star Trek podcast primarily. My name is Patrick. We've got Dan over
My
here.
name is Jose.
Yep, it's me.
All right, that's Dan. Jesse self-identified as Jesse, as himself.
Danny's good.
Who I identify as.
We three discuss Star Trek week in and week out. We put out
Fascinating.
an episode each and every week. When there's new episodes like now, we cover the new episodes.
Right.
When there's not new
Exactly.
episodes, yes, when there's not new episodes, we cover old episodes.
We're
Bouncing
back to
around.
our regular night. Last week we did a different night.
All right, great. So Jesse likes providing information that is largely irrelevant
It's pretty much irrelevant. Yes.
to the audience. But
Buddy,
thank
that's
you.
adorable.
It matters not to the listener.
So that's what Jesse does.
It's sort of like meta information.
Jesse makes sly comments,
Metadata.
often comments that Dan and I don't register in the moment, but then we hear when
I'm a
we're
sly devil.
editing or listening back to the podcast, and we're like, "Whoa, that Jesse guy, he's pretty funny." He made some cutting or insightful comment, and we didn't even notice.
Sometimes you're like, that Jesse guy.
Dan likes to play not special effects, sound clips. You know, play some sound clips, Dan, to prove to the new people that's what you do.
How dare you?
Sound grab.
You see how he not only selected and cut out those clips, but now he expertly plays them in all
Data
manner
pull.
of entertaining combinations.
What is this trickery?
See, there you go.
Yeah,
Danny's good.
Yeah, he had that very, very well stated, Dan. You're very good at that.
for real.
It's something that we've grown famous for. Thank you, Dan.
Tendy's gonna think this is so cool.
Chief O'Brien.
Now, it is important for people to note, new people who may
Chief
not be
O'Brien?
aware, a couple key aspects of It's Got Star Trek that are important to note to the uninitiated.
The layperson.
The first thing is that
The
this
Star
is
Trek, the It's Got Star Trek layperson.
it's a silly podcast, okay? It's silly. There's lots of serious podcasts out there. There's lots of semi-serious out there. We're one of the silly ones.
Semi-silly.
I love it.
Pretty silly.
Pretty silly.
We'll sneak in some interesting shit here and there.
Exactly.
We'll sneak in an insight.
Sometimes.
Occasionally we'll say something you'll be like, oh, that's pretty clever. I didn't think of that.
We're smart.
But that's just a from time to time thing. Primarily, it's a silly podcast.
We are silly.
Another thing to note is that we do like Star Trek. There are some Star Trek fans out there who apparently are not that into Star Trek. We quite like it.
There's hatreds.
We have our favorites, of course, and there's ups and downs and all
and
that.
lefts and rights.
But
and
we find
Lower
some
Decks is tight.
northwest and southeast.
we find something to like in just about any Star Trek. I don't know about Nemesis, but other than that,
well, I mean, like, I'm not saying Nemesis is a good movie, but Patrick,
I don't
definitely, you
like
have more of a hatred
it's
towards
one of
it.
those. I mean, I haven't seen it in a while. It was one of the ones that makes me a little uncomfortable. But
Yeah, I'm not saying it's good.
we're
I'm
a
just saying-
pro Star Trek.
You're just like
podcast.
whereas I'm like, yeah, Nemesis is not that good. You like it like aggravates you,
It
Patrick.
sort of pissed me off, and I recognize that that's a subjective thing, and I perhaps overreacted, but I don't know. I didn't like that. And one of the main things to note, of course, that this is an explicit show, so we'll say things like
Oh, we're effing and jeffing.
poops and stuff and farts
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Dan, can you give us an example
Poops and
of the
farts.
type of thing, the type of explicit comment that we might make that people should just be aware of? It's the kind of thing they might expect.
How about I fucking don't?
By way of example, that works. We wouldn't beep out
Not bad.
if we were to say the word fuck.
The bleeps?
All right.
What the was that? How about I fucking don't? Oh my god, they're fucking dead!
You will from time to time hear clips from either Spaceballs or references to Pulp Fiction. Those are other things
Oh, yeah.
common to the It's Got Star Trek podcast. But I think that about covers the intro stuff. I don't know what that was. What was that? What did
Hey, Patrick, why don't you shut the up?
Okay.
Jesse, go suck a with a, and then go fart. I mean, I can't do that. You're not supposed to talk while you press the button. Jesse's gonna fart on while he eats a big pile of, and then I'm gonna go and walk with Jesse
That
so I
doesn't
can
really sound
buy
like
a carton of, so I can go home and it.
A carton of what? Cigarettes? Milk? What was it? What were we supposed to infer from
Milk.
I'm gonna cook it
that?
in
A carton
the.
of semen?
I'm gonna cook it in the, and then when I'm done to keep it fresh, I'm gonna put it back in the.
All right. Good. Okay.
You're
All
a
right.
madman.
I think we've successfully shooed away anybody who is not going to be interested in this program. So, Jesus fucking Christ! You're
that a
supposed
fucking
to
eagle?
say hawk noise. You're supposed to say hawk noise before the hawk noise.
Last time I did that, it fizzled. It said hawk noise, and I didn't hit the button right.
Yeah, but that's because of the lack of capacitive touch in your thumbs because you have some sort of like weird.
I
thumb
do
thing.
have that problem. Sometimes, every once in a while, like on my laptop, my fingers doesn't register on the trackpad.
My fingers doesn't.
And on top of that, sometimes it's not uncommon for the fingerprint scanner on my phone to not recognize my finger, and that's been on different phones. Like I can tell ahead of time if it's not going to recognize it. They get dry, and it's like I can't get into my bank statement. Shit.
Oh, that sucks.
All right. Okay.
I do it a million times, and it tells me I have to wait, and then I go like put moisturize on it, and like breathe on it.
All
and
right.
then
Okay. So we do have a lot to discuss. So let's keep it moving. We got
Sabotage.
We got rid of all the lame people. So if you're still listening, you're gonna enjoy this episode. We will be covering Lower Decks Season 5, Episodes 1 and 2, because they gave us 2 episodes this week. So we'll be doing Dos Cerritos and then Shades of Green. But first and foremost, a reminder, we do have a very excellent Patreon. Patreon.com/It's Got Star Trek.
Incredible!
Yes, it really is. Go check it out. Lots of fun stuff there. It's amazing.
I love it.
And we keep adding new stuff all the time. So go check it out. You can look at the free previews if you like. If you just want to make us feel a little better, you can sign up for free. And there's a couple of free things up there. But
What are we adding this week?
I don't know. We'll add something cool. We'll mention it on the social media and
In
stuff.
your face, people.
Fantastic.
There we go. So yes, patreon.com/It's Got Star Trek. Totally worth checking out. We did not have any new reviews this
So
week.
There's no There's no haiku.
No haikus.
But
This is
there's
my mess.
Merely
I'm gonna stay and clean it up.
F you.
And again, for new listeners, we do have a policy that says for each new review, someone writes for us on one of the podcast platforms, Apple Podcast or what have you, Dan will compose a bespoke haiku.
Bespoke.
And if you need some incentive, it is a really great way to get noticed by your crush. You know, if you want to get noticed by your crush, or if you're trying to show up a bully, if you're trying to show a bully that you're more popular than they might think.
Yeah.
What was it? What'd you say about the crush? You try to what your crush?
Show up a crush.
Show
Trying to
up-
get noticed by your crush.
Yeah,
you know,
crush.
And your crush is going to be listening to the It's Got Star Trek podcast.
I was not expecting
gonna,
you to say that.
They're going to hear your name,
that's
or
probably
at least
true.
your username, because Dan, for some reason, has decided that the haikus always have to be based off of the username.
Well, what else? They need a topic. Do you have any other ideas?
They could be based off of the content of the review.
Hey man, it's up to you. Man.
Haikus are very sort of like
It's your own magic. Man.
our haikus are sort of abstract and vague and
It's alchemy.
But I think it's funny that
sort of esoteric.
You think somebody's username is how you personalize haiku, but some of the usernames are all like Pocket Rocket 69.
Well, we haven't had Pocket Rocket 69 yet,
Well, yeah, that's an example.
But I
wasn't going to use a real person who did a nice review for us.
But I've made one for every review so
Yes,
far,
yes.
and so until I can't do it,
All right.
I'm a master.
Well, that's fine. It's your
no,
business.
I'm not a master. But I mean, I needed a subject.
You're the one making the haikus. I'm not going to tell you how to do that.
You know,
Do
it's
your
like I
business.
said, it's like abstract and vague and esoteric, like I said. And so why not do a subject that is similarly so, like someone's name? It's like what? Write a thing about someone's name? That's silly. So
Yeah.
you know.
And, well, okay.
The review. If it was like a limerick or something, I'd write the summary of the review. That would make more sense because limericks are more straightforward and more like they're to the point.
Well, if the haiku stuff fizzles out, maybe we'll switch over to limericks.
I'll limerick you.
Okay.
Yeah, limericks are like funnier.
Next up, before
Yeah, that's true.
we will be getting to the topics at hand shortly. Oh, by the way, Jesse is playing the kalimba.
Yeah.
I encouraged him to do that. It's a new feature we're providing.
What are you doing?
this week? We'll see how that works out. Gives Jesse something to do other than
Tastefully.
clicking pens or just crunching down on some almonds or whatever usual nonsense
Almonds.
he gets up
I
to.
don't eat almonds.
But I don't know, whatever nuts you're eating.
I eat pistachios and walnuts.
I'm gonna get you.
Well, now we know what to get you for Christmas. Bag of pistachios.
Hey, I want to.
Bag of walnuts.
Do you think they still sell the pistachios with the red powder on them?
Thank you.
The arbitrary red powder.
No, it wasn't arbitrary. I believe that wasn't it the ones they were from was it the ones from Iran or the ones not from Iran that were dyed red? Go look it up. It's related to Persia.
I thought they just put the powder on because it was a cosmetic thing. They decided.
No,
that
it was
something-
specific. If you look in the history, and I'm quite certain, although people should look this up and confirm that for themselves, it had something to do with differentiating the source. It's the same thing they used to do with
carrots.
Yeah, they used to do it with milk. They the butter certain butter that came from Canada or whatever had to be dyed pink or something.
Yeah, right.
Well, go look it up. It's one of the interesting histories of the food ways of
Earlier-
the global society.
Right before we began that thought, you said you made a voice. You went EKP.
Yeah, in the Disney's A Christmas Carol, which is the best version of the Christmas Carol put to film with Mickey Mouse and
Oh, yeah,
Scrooge McDuck.
the future guy is all scary.
Donald Duck.
The ghost of Christmas Past is the big giant guy, and at one point he's talking
giant.
about all the figgy puddings and stuff that they have, and he's trying to say like, would you like it with pistachio? Pistachio.
With pudding.
With pudding or yogurt or whatever he said.
With yogurt. That's what he said.
I think it's with yogurt.
That's the first interesting thing you've said all day.
Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, but before we get to the main conversation, the main event tonight, we do have one voicemail. And that voicemail is from Jesse, not our Jesse, and not Open Pike Night Jesse. This is from Jesse from the Crusher Convo podcast.
Hey guys, it's Jesse from Crusher Convo.
There,
and
that's
I
what I
have
just
been
said
meaning to
that.
ask you this since your episode on DS9 crossover came out. Sorry, just been super busy. Anyways, I'm very bummed we didn't get a TNG version of the Mirror Universe, and I was wondering, as a Bev fan, how do you think she would have been like? I like to think that she was some superior who took no crap and was F-buddies with Picard. I mean, right. Makes sense, right? But anyways, I'm about to go live for my Lower Decks episode 1 and 2. So you guys have fun and live long and prosper.
Excellent.
Thank you for the pointer.
Thanks, Jesse.
That's the only thank you
As
I had
always.
for these 2 episodes.
Don't you have a whole library of thank yous?
I do, but like for these 2 episodes, that was the only one I had.
But how do you access the other thank yous?
Oh, I have to go. I mean,
Hologram?
I can go to it. It's just I didn't feel like.
I mean, you don't have to go to it.
I mean, I can now that you said
Hologram?
something.
I mean, I'm not trying to shame you into.
Thanks, Agamus!
I just got used to.
Oh, maybe
hearing-
she'd like
hearing
this
this.
one.
Thank you.
That was Beverly
Yeah,
Crusher.
Beverly Crusher. Yeah.
Thank you.
Jesse.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
thank you.
Thank you.
And it's a
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Colonel.
Thank you.
I regret nothing.
Thank you.
Yeah, TNG never did a crossover on the show. There were comics that I'm not super familiar with, but there were comics, and I believe maybe a novel or two.
In the chronology, would the Terran Empire would have been taken down by the TNG times?
Well, hard to say because TNG times were close to the DS9 times because we did crossover. What was it, a month ago or something? Not too long ago.
Did either of you read any of those Star Trek novels, like the TNG ones or anything?
Oh yeah.
I read one that
read
had
a lot of them.
it was called like something's heart. It had a picture of Picard and like a heart on the front.
I want to read more.
Heart of Darkness. Was
No,
that
that's
it?
some.
I read one that
different.
was lame.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I want to read.
I read a
one
lot
that's
of Star Trek,
cool.
but I'm currently reading A Stitch in Time by Andrew Robinson. It's about Garrick. It's brilliant. I mean, it's just one I never got around to.
It's the Devil's Heart. The Devil's Heart. I remember that's it's Picard's holding some crystal looking heart. Sorry, I had to.
No, there's a lot of great Star Trek novels across all the
I gotta
shows.
get into that shit.
Yeah, I've been getting back into. I actually downloaded a bunch of Kindle Star Trek books from
That's where it's at.
TOS, TNG, Voyager, and A Stitch in Time, which I'm reading right now for deep.
Buddy,
Stitch it up.
that's adorable.
Fantastic. But getting to Jesse's question, what would Beverly be like if she were in the mirror universe?
Well, first of all, I think we need to establish some of this
Would she be
mirror
F
universe.
buddies with Picard?
Some of this mirror universe stuff, like for example, in Lower Decks, the mirror universe, they weren't all complete mirrors
because
of
it
each
wasn't
other.
That wasn't
mirror.
the
It wasn't
mirror.
mirror. They have been.
Okay,
they
I
had the
guess
That was,
simulated.
just
technically-
that was just a different one.
There was the
Okay.
simulated mirror universe they did that was more actual, like the TOS style.
Okay, so
mirror
in this,
universe.
we're going to get to this question, but I have to clear something up real quick about this other universe in this Lower Decks episode.
Okay, you have to clear that up now.
Yes.
prior to the
because
discussion.
because it's related to the
Okay,
discussion.
all right.
Now, are
I
these?
will allow it.
Thank
Sing
you.
it.
Thank you. So the other universe, were they implying that any one of them could have ended up like the other? Like Mariner could have ended up like Becky, could have ended up like Mariner. Like that's kind of what they were saying.
It was a universe where they just made different choices.
And it was slightly different, as opposed to the
Just-
mirror
just
universe,
slightly.
which diverged long before and was all super violent and etc.
Which okay, so yeah, that's
This was more about different
interesting.
hairstyles.
Well,
they
it's
weren't
interest-
stabbing
it's-
each other.
it's
and
slightly different
Well,
hairstyles.
it's interesting. It's interesting that like Mariner would have turned out to be an asshole ruler like kind of person.
But
if
it kind of
she-
makes sense that you could see her going too far.
and
Yeah,
she
I
went
guess
by
right.
Becky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if her mother was removed to Starbase 80.
Okay, so-
as it happens.
Right.
But
Okay.
Beverly.
Going back to this is going back to the question.
Beverly, yeah. Mirror universe proper.
Mirror universe people are
Scary mirror universe.
Mirror universe people in no third. Well, I can't answer that. I was gonna say in no third universe could the mirror universe people be like the regular universe people. And it's like, well, of course, I guess in any universe, anything.
You've stated it awkwardly, but I understand what you're
Okay,
saying.
right.
I 100% understand
Okay,
what
awesome.
you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So like, mirror people aren't gonna be like prime.
Yeah,
universe
it's because
people.
it diverged too long ago.
Yeah.
The thing is that
Is it the same principle as the Lower Decks third universe, or is it something totally different where it's straight up opposite land?
I think it's more opposite land, although not directly opposite necessarily, right? That's the thing where it gets tricky. Because, for example, Smiley and Miles O'Brien fairly similar.
Yeah.
Miles is fairly neutral in both. In both universes, he's mildly racist against Cardassians, and he's a nice guy. Whereas Cisco is certainly a little more sinister, although he does at the end of Crossover, for example, makes a turn in the direction of being more of a hero. Odo's a piece of shit.
I think Beverly
Spock is pretty cool. Mirror Spock ends up being pretty cool. He still believes in logic.
Beverly would be like the head of some kind of pharmaceutical cartel that would that illegal
Just
pharmaceutical
takes advantage of people.
Illegal.
So she'd still be a scientist and a doctor.
Yeah, but an illegal pharmaceutical
taking advantage of
she'd be
people.
an illegal
Just opposite move.
an illegal pharmaceutical cartel that somehow buys its way out of getting in trouble.
Yeah.
And she'd also probably be
I mean, that sounds similar to a legal pharmaceutical cartel.
and she'd probably be all stealing the medications and taking them herself and stuff like that.
Is she doing a third man deal?
A what?
All right, in the movie The Third Man, it centers around Harry Lime, a character who's the titular third man.
You just wanted to describe the plot of this movie. That's the only reason
It's a
you
great
said that.
movie. It's a film noir.
Yeah, you just wanted people to know that you saw that movie.
People probably already assumed I had seen the movie.
No, but I mean,
People who've heard this podcast are like, Patrick's the kind of guy who's probably seen The Third Man. He's definitely seen The Maltese Falcon.
Remarkable.
Well, in The Third Man, Harry Lime is a character who
I fucking can't believe I took your bait. You were like the third man. I was like, what's the third man?
I know. And
I fell for your fucking bait.
By podcast law, you have no choice but to hear my response.
I know, it was my fault. I fucking too quick for me today.
But
Patrick.
he's stealing.
How dare you?
He's stealing antibiotics and he's watering them down and selling them on the black market. And so both he's selling stolen goods for profit, but since he's watered them down, a lot of kids are dying in post-war Vienna.
That's fucked.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked. It's a great movie. That's just a small part of it. Anyway,
Fascinating.
I think you're right. I was thinking along the same lines, or that the thing that would be different about Beverly is that she wouldn't get into science and she'd get into something else equally worthy of her talents, but not as noble, because instead of discovery, it would be something that would be. I was also thinking along the greedy lines. I hadn't thought about her becoming a greedy doctor or pharmaceutical developer or something like that.
An illegal pharmaceutical cartel that's evil.
Yeah.
Or if she was in the Lower Decks alternate universe, she'd be like a dancer or something. She'd be like a famous dancer.
She'd assassinate people
With her
assassinate
with her
people
dance
by
moves.
dancing.
Yeah, with her dance moves. She'd assassinate people with her dance moves.
Damn.
She'd have
Killer moves.
shoes with assassin weapons on it, and she'd
Shoes
do
for
she'd
killer
do a
grooves.
pirouette and a bombalay, and it would hit someone.
Bombalay.
She'd knock someone down.
Okay, so I think that's the answer, Jesse.
I hope that was satisfactory.
Folks who are interested in Lower Decks, which I presume, pretty much ought to be everyone listening to this episode, right? Certainly if you're still listening, because we haven't even really talked that much about Lower Decks yet. But anyway, if you are
we got a lot to talk about, too.
If you're interested about Lower Decks, definitely go check out Jesse's live coverage with guests each Friday on her YouTube channel, Crusher Convo YouTube channel. Excellent podcast. I've been on it a couple times, and
She's been on our podcast.
She's been on our podcast. Go check it out. You're going to love it.
I love it!
YouTube is probably the first place to go, but you can also, in all the podcatchers, get it there. Oh, and definitely keep an eye out. She recently did an interview with Mike McMahon from
Sweet.
Lower Decks, so go check that out.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Incredible. Remarkable. Fascinating.
All right. We got a lot to cover this week, so I don't have any update-em-ups. I'm presuming nobody else does. Going, gone. Okay, no update-em-ups. So we can get right into the first discussion of Dos Cerritos, or...
It's just Dos Cerrito.
Yes, or Dos Cerritos. Here's the controversy. This is the first
I know.
controversy, right?
Yeah, I've seen some of it.
Because Paramount
It's actually
Plus...
Dos Cerrito.
Paramount Plus listed as Dos Cerrito.
You sound funny. when you
But
speak
that's
Spanish.
apparently a mistake, because most other places, including Memory Alpha and IMDb, have it as Dos Cerritos. Dos Cerritos
man.
also makes most sense.
Yeah, it does make the most sense.
And Memory Alpha
Yeah.
asserts that this is actually an error on the part of Paramount Plus,
Well,
because in all the production, all the stuff that's been released by the studio has been Dos Cerritos.
Given Paramount Plus's track history, I would
Yes.
tend to believe Memory Alpha or anyone but Paramount Plus.
Minus.
Is track history is that the colloquialism?
Given their track history?
Their track record is usually how I
Well,
remember it. You can coin a new one if you want.
That's
I'm
neither-
down with that.
that's
I'll
ne-
support you.
That's neither up nor down.
It's a little fussy.
Well done, sir. Well done. New listeners, this is the type of thing you're going to get. Week in and week out. This sort of
Remarkable.
banter. Yes, it's fantastic. It's truly ingenious.
Fascinating.
It's sophisticated humor. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So Dos Cerritos.
Okay.
All right. First things first, it is the new season, and every new season of Lower Decks, they add more
To the opening.
to the
Yeah.
opening. They add more to the big battle in the opening.
What was the big green hand on the
That's
board
Apollo's
cube?
hand. That's
That's
Apollo's hand from Who Mourns for Adonais.
Okay. Yeah.
We haven't covered that episode yet. For Adonis, when I say
That's a TOS.
looks like Who Mourns for Adonis? Yes.
Oh, it does look
that was the probe was there already, right?
The probe was so. What we had. Was
there a big green hand in that episode?
No. So in seasons 1 through 4, they added on, it was Borg cube, crystalline entity, a Romulan Dideric class ship, Klingon birds of prey. There's a Pakled clump ship shows up.
Whoa, stop!
And then this year, normally they just added one thing per season. And I have a theory about this. This year, for the 5th and final season, they added Apollo's green hand, they added a Tholian web, and they added V'ger. So V'ger from the Star Trek The Motion Picture is floating around in the background. So they added not just one thing, they added 3 things.
Wait, didn't they? There was some storm going on in the background too.
Well, there's the crystalline entity.
No, I thought I saw a storm in the background.
I think the storm might be related to the Apollo's hand. I don't know. I'd have to look at it again.
No, I saw
the
Apollo's hand was over on one side of the screen, and I swear I saw like one of those,
like a nebula
one
storm?
of those space lightning storms where the clouds are going. You see the lightning go up and down between the two clouds.
Lightning going up and down between the two. I'll have to look at it.
It's like a cloud storm sandwich. It's like a cloud bun on top and a cloud bun on the bottom, and then in the middle is like lightning lettuce or whatever.
This is a good. This is a good opportunity to let listeners know that you can write in at feedback@itsgotstartrek.com or contact us on social media at It's Got Star Trek.
Taste for lightning.
I'd rather die 1,000 times.
If you want to write us an email, subject line, what was it? Cloud sandwich?
Mother, don't!
Lightning lettuce.
Lightning lettuce and cloud sandwich. Let us know your thoughts.
Thunderonis.
It was with cloud buns and lightning lettuce.
Okay.
Two cloud buns and a lightning lettuce.
You got cloud buns,
subject
baby?
line.
Two cloud buns and lightning lettuce.
Feedback at itsgotstartrek.com.
I got 2 cloud buns and lightning lettuce.
Baby.
Where it's at.
.com.
Where it's at. I got 2 cloud bunnies and a lettuce bone.
Oh, that's
lettuce
that
bone.
Song,
Lettuce does not have bones.
I got 2 cloud bunnies and a lettuce bone. Where it's at.
Cloud bunnies?
I got 2 cloud bunnies and a lettuce bone.
All right. So, okay.
Where it's at. I got 2 cloud bunnies and a lettuce bone.
You're so crazy, Dave.
Anyway, I'm wondering if they added the 2 extras because they were what they were going to plan to add in season 6 and 7. Because everyone knows that this is the final season of Lower Decks, but it was not necessarily planned that way. Mike McMahon has seemed pretty confident. Or I don't know, confident. You can't be that confident in TV, I'm sure. But it seemed like he had a plan for 7 seasons. Like do the whole like matching TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, matching golden era, silver era, whatever era that's supposed to be called. And they didn't get to do that.
How dare you?
At least not yet. So I'm thinking they had thought about adding a couple of more things in the next few seasons, and so they just added them in now. Now, maybe not. Maybe they're just like, hey, it's the 5th season. Let's go out with a hilarious bang and add a bunch of other shit, including
Something new I'm trying.
cloud bunnies and a microphone and a lettuce bone. All that other stuff. So yes, fun to see that. Did you notice the other thing they did differently and quite cleverly?
In the opening?
If I must say so myself. All right, Dan is now singing the theme song out loud, but you can see from his face that he's imagining it. He's calling the images to mind. He's using his photographic memory to see if he can figure out what other thing they changed, which they hadn't changed before.
Was there a squid or something? A space squid?
That's always been there.
I think that was
This is something that is new to this season. And it is hilarious.
Is it?
It's a deep cut.
I don't know.
Do you have any idea, Jesse?
No, actually, I don't. I wasn't paying that much attention.
So what they did?
I'm a fool.
What they did, because this is the 5th season of Lower Decks.
Yeah,
you might recall. In the 5th season. Jesus, I whistled. I did a Dan whistle.
Yep.
A Dan beaver.
Would you like some
whistle.
wood?
I can't do it. I can't do it on command. Is a funny thing. That's funny.
In the 5th season of Star Trek, The Next Generation, in the opening titles, when they did the Star
titular
Trek,
title.
When they did Star Trek, they put the like kind of warpy background behind Star Trek. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where it is it's only in the 5th season. 6th season and 7th season, they go back to just no warpy background, just clean font on
Wait, for
black.
which one?
On season 5 of TNG.
Okay.
I'll send you a picture later. During the break. How about that? During the break, which we're about to go on, I will send you the picture.
Oh, tips. Teach me your ways, oh master. Oh.
But they did that for Lower Decks. For the Lower Decks title, they did the I don't know what to call it. The smeary, warpy background. I'll show you in the break. People at home who are listening, they might not be at home. They might be jogging. They might be mowing the lawn. They might be at work. They might be doing all sorts of things. They know what I'm talking about. Oh, I thought you were about to click a button.
I was watching Jesse play the thing. Jesse, do you remember this thing? The 5th season of TNG? I don't even remember the 5th season of TNG thing you're talking about.
Well, I'll show you during the break.
Oh, tips. Teach me your ways, oh master.
Having some amnesia about the 5th season.
All right, we gotta take a break.
What's the matter with it?
That's enough of that nonsense. You're giving Jesse a bad case of amnesia. All right,
I'm giving you a bad case of the noid.
We're gonna take a break, and when we get back, Dan and Jesse will have seen the pictures I'm talking about.
All right.
They're gonna be like, "Oh yeah,
where's my phone?
Oh,
Where's my
yeah.
phone? Oh, here it is.
All right, Jesse has found his phone, so we're good to go. Okay,
Ready to receive.
we will be right back. Wait. When we come back, in addition to Jesse and Dan being excited at having realized what I'm talking about, in addition to that, we will continue our discussion of Dos Cerritos. We're almost at the beginning of the episode.
We're getting there, baby.
We will be right back.
Hey, wait up, party
Be
people.
right back.
Okay, we are back.
What up, Cerritos? This is Captain Becky Freeman.
What up, Cerritos? Now, during the break,
On screen.
I showed Dan and Jesse what I was talking about with regard to the Star Trek TNG Season 5 opening font warpy business.
Yeah, I totally recognize
Now
it now.
you remember,
Warpy
right,
letters.
Dan?
And
Now
I
you guys
didn't-
both remember.
And I didn't realize, like, I remember seeing it, but I never tied it to a particular season. I didn't know when or where I would see it, and it was almost like it was so infrequent that like it was almost not notable at the time. I was like, oh, it's showing that thing, but like it wasn't like, yeah, that's a deep cut because it's pretty subtle, like it being there in the first place. Watching all the reruns,
pretty deep.
you know, it was the kind of thing where I'd see it and I wouldn't even like remark upon it. It wasn't remarkable, but it was visible. But I wasn't
was it
like
fascinating.
Was it quarkable?
But it wasn't even like that. Like I was just like, it was just something I recognized as happening. But it's not something I really noted.
Was it happening?
I didn't note it.
Are you still talking about Star Trek?
I didn't remark upon it. I didn't remark upon it.
What are you talking about?
I didn't remark upon it or note it.
Hey, Jesse, I think Dan's stuck in one of his classic loops. One of those classic, hilarious Dan loops.
Classic loop? Oh, no.
It may be indicative of some sort of brain damage.
You know, usually triggered by other
we
people.
probably shouldn't be laughing at it.
Usually triggered by other people talking over me. That's usually what triggers it.
I like when Jesse tries not to interrupt you. He's like put his hand over his mouth. Okay, so let's continue our discussion of Dos Cerritos. First of all, this is a pretty evenly balanced A and B story plot here. You
Makes you think of Doritos.
You don't even. These are equally weighted A and B plots, right? This is not like the B is not the diminutive plot here. It's arbitrary which one I think you pick as the A and B.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
They're pretty even.
The A was the serialized plot, and the B was like the episodic kind of plot.
Oh, okay.
Is that how you put it? Because I put it the other way around. I had the A plot as dastardly duplicates.
Oh, that was the A plot to you?
I mean, like I said, it's arbitrary because to me it was the dastardly
It's the
duplicates,
Cerritos.
and it was Tendi's tension.
Yeah.
Ah.
Because she was trying to live in two worlds at once, kind of thing.
Right. Well, yeah, I guess it kind of, yeah, that's interesting though. I don't know what I would call the A plot in this situation. When I thought first of A plot, I
called it dastardly duplicates.
I thought, yeah, that was a cool name. It's very clever.
Thank you for telling me that.
I thought Tendi's secrets or whatever was when you
Tendi's tension.
Yeah, Tendi's tension.
Gotta go for the alliteration.
To me, that seemed like the A plot, but I can equally see the other one being the A plot. So, but we both had the same thing. Like we both said the same thing in terms of which one was serialized and which one was episodic.
Well, I'm glad.
And it wasn't that serialized.
I'm glad we've resolved that and that we agree on the most basic fundamentals.
Well, this may be jumping
this episode.
This may be jumping ahead a little bit. Like I thought this whole Tendi plot thing was going to be what shows do a lot. or do from time to time, where they'll have a cliffhanger that seems like it's changing the whole like universe of the show, or it's like this big crazy shit that happens. You're like, wow, nothing's ever going to be the same, and then they like immediately resolve it at the beginning of the first episode of the season. This one didn't do it, and even at the end, like I was like, oh, they're going to resolve this in this episode, but at the very end, they slipped in. Tendi was like, no, I'm going to
extra.
She was like, I'm going to stick around, but it subverted my expectation because that Tendi plot went on for another episode, but they did end up, as far as we know so far, they did end up ending that thread in the second episode, which you could actually consider the first episode because they played them back to back, and you could you could sort of consider it one episode in the Tendi sense. So in that way,
stuff gets all tied up.
So in that way, they.
I honestly wish I could legally describe the hand motions Dan is making legally. To describe things.
You're going to go to jail?
No, the Tendi sense.
The Tendi
Is that an
sense.
FCC violation?
Yeah, I think so.
Might be.
But in
standards and practices.
In that way, they resolved the Tendi plot in the first episode of the 5th season. If you consider that the second episode was just a continuation of the first episode in terms of Tendi's
second verse is different than the first.
Okay, stop. I'm not done.
And just a little color, toss in a little podcast color.
That's just not no. It was not timed. Not timed well. No. The color was not timed well. But even if you would consider it the end of even if you would consider those two episodes the same episode in terms of Tendi, they didn't resolve it at the very beginning, which they sometimes do as well. I was pleased how they carried the Tendi plot out a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I was very pleased. I was pleased, but perhaps unsurprised at the sophistication of the writing in both of these episodes. It's tricky to have a season premiere because you cannot. It can be hard to pull off, especially it's the final season and people have high expectations. Yeah. There was that semi cliffhanger of the last season with Tendi and what's going to happen, etc. Where's the character growth going to go? And you have to set all that stuff up. You have to set up the season, as you noted, the side arc, right? Because there's usually a season-long arc. You have to start setting up the paces for the season-long arc. And, you got to wait to the end of the season, ultimately, to pass full judgment. But I thought they did a gangbusters job.
I wasn't clear on how Tendi and Derica's relationship became less contentious. Because didn't they end the last season with them being like kind of like annoyed at each other?
No, they ended last season with everything resolved.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I should have watched it again.
I feel the same way. I started watching it and I was like, I kind of should have started at least reviewed like the last part of the last season.
Again, for new listeners, please do not expect too much from us. It's just, you can only ask so much.
We're not experts.
Yeah, we like Star Trek. We even love Star Trek, but
professional.
There's a lot of other stuff on TV. I've been watching Frieren, Beyond Journey's End.
We have other stuff in our lives.
Do you want to go stare at the warp stars?
Delicious in Dungeon.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
There's all sorts of stuff that's occupying our time. But Tendi.
And so
it was resolved last season because the problem Tendi's sister had was partly because Tendi had abandoned her role as the Mistress of the Winter.
But they became super buddy-buddy. I don't remember them being so buddy-buddy.
Well, it was also because Derica, there was she wanted to marry that guy, remember? The one guy. There was like
DeClevin?
DeClevin, yeah. And by the way, Derica.
Clevin, or is it Clevin?
I laughed last season, but like...
Clevin.
I never get over how hilarious the name Derica is. It's brilliant. It's just so funny.
Also, they had this last season too, but I guess Tendi's fighting prowess was just sort of instinctual, I did the
there you go,
dude.
I did. I don't know if her fighting thing was instinctional, or that stinks. That's stinctional. It's really stinctional in here. Somebody farted. It's really stinctual. It makes me feel it's a stinctual fart.
Oh my god!
What's going on?
I'm not joking, Lee. Sabotage.
That's what I meant.
Are you having a stroke? I'm not stroking, Lee.
Okay, yeah. Tendi's fighting ability, is that instinctual or is it implied that she learned that as a child because she's being a winter constellation?
Yeah.
She
was
she
raised
was trained.
Orion,
She was
man.
trained. And
Yeah.
she was not only raised Orion, but trained specifically to be extra badass.
I called 2 things in this episode that made me.
You call as in predicted. You're using a colloquial term for you predicted 2 things.
I called
Exactly.
that.
All right, and none of them are actually were that hard to predict.
And granted, we have no way to prove this.
No, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Why would I lie?
You wouldn't, and I want to explain that to the new listeners. Dan's character would not permit him to make up a prediction that he made and was confirmed to be true.
I have fooled you.
I'm going to vouch for him on this.
Do you notice Talin's voice never has any kind of like, it's so flat, like there's no...
It's brilliant.
There's no echo. There's like other voices.
Vulcan.
Every time Talin talks, there's like no ambient noise, right? Like it's always like a clear, easy sound isolation.
I have fooled you.
Right? There's
Fascinating. Remarkable.
like they never play like background music, or rarely, or they often don't, or have any kind of background noise. It's often there's no effect on her voice. It's just must do that on purpose.
Okay. So
Yeah, man.
Here's the thing. I'm enjoying this point because you're right. And you provided examples. That's fantastic. Great. Totally awesome. I think our listeners are going to enjoy this. I've enjoyed this. Now, what I'm curious about is, are you going to be able to navigate back to your point?
Oh, yeah. Right. Because I was talking about Talin.
You seemed, it was before Talin.
Oh, well, yeah, I remember.
You seem real fucking intent.
Yeah.
Excited. And then you interrupted yourself.
I did. I will.
For this very interesting Talin business.
I will have been.
Okay.
This is something that that is not too hard to predict, but like at the very first, when we first saw Tendi, when she was all incognito, I was like, that's Tendi.
Yes.
Because she had freckles and big eyes and her voice.
Yeah, I was going to say yes. And Noelle Wells was doing the voice.
Yeah, and also I predicted that when they went to the alternate universe, they were going to see a copy of themselves. I predicted that too.
Oh, yeah?
I knew that was going to happen.
All right. Well, we're not on that part of the story.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I predicted those things. What kind of sword was Lakar wielding?
Which one was Lakar? Was that the one? Because there was that knife through the hand.
Lakar was the blonde-haired one. Astrid was the green-haired one. They both had. Astrid had shaved side of her head, and Lakar just had shorter, wavy hair. I don't know who the long, dark hair was. I can't remember her name.
I really enjoy the animation this season. The animation's always been great in this show, but every season it gets more and more intricate. The backgrounds are more interesting. They're so good at differentiating all the different characters. And this episode is particularly important in the other plot, in the A or B plot, whichever one you want, the dastardly duplicates. The uniforms of the other alternate universe are slightly darker, right? So you can tell them apart.
Yeah.
But one thing
was helpful.
You get that's made very clear in this episode, although they've done it throughout the show, and I've always really been excited about this on Lower Decks, is that they make a point to show an extreme variation in the skin tone among Orions and as well as other
Orions,
as well as other alien races. So they don't make them all sort of monolithic.
Green Orions. The blue Orions.
Star Trek sometimes is making alien races a little monolithic. Not always, but they've done a great job on Lower Decks, which is great for identifying the characters, but it's also great just to show that there's a lot of diversity in the community.
Like many episodes ago, like long time ago, several seasons of Lower Decks back, I made the comment, and Patrick, I think you like tried to make me seem like some kind of pervert, but I was noting that their bodies are different. Like when you look at their bodies of the characters, they all have
love their bodies.
They're like a lot of times in shows, everyone has like the same body. There's like the dude body, and there's the woman body, the guy body, the girl body,
right? Yeah.
And like that's it.
They do all have different bodies,
but they but they have different body structures. And it's not just like some are bigger than others. It's like they shape differently.
I don't think I ever realized that.
The producers are like, this is the new millennium. Give them different
pretty,
bodies.
Insightful.
People want different bodies now. This isn't the 1980s. In the 1980s, everyone wanted the same bodies.
He's making fun, Jesse, but like
now they want a whole menu of bodies.
I was basically building on the same point that Patrick was making, but somehow he's once again trying to belittle me or something.
Look at all the different bodies.
Like seriously, why are you trying to belittle me?
No, I'm riffing on your joke. It was a good joke. I liked your joke.
It wasn't a joke. You didn't even fucking listen to what I said.
You were making a
It
joke.
wasn't even a fucking joke.
Dan was making a joke.
I was making a point.
It was a good punchline. I liked it. It was funny.
God.
You're like,
He's a silly guy.
No, it was good.
Why is this so funny? It shouldn't be.
Speaking of, it was great.
Oh wait, I was talking about Lakar, by the way. Before.
Oh, yes, the sword.
The sword. So Lakar had like a sword with a big wonk on it, but then
It was cool.
Wonk.
I mean, it was cool. I don't
and
know.
then and another one had a dagger with like giant serrations on it. Like it was like for cutting like really.
Orions have some cool
It
weapons.
was like for
They
cutting
do,
some kind
yeah.
of really big bread or
They
something.
were bad, dude.
Like
They
if
were
your
badass.
if your bread was really big, you'd need that kind of serration on your on that dagger.
It's worth it to get a high quality bread knife.
a big bread.
Big old sandwiches.
Like if you haven't had a high quality bread
I'm talking
knife,
about a big bread.
give it a try.
I'm talking
because
about a big bread.
You don't know what you've been
like
missing
big
out.
buns.
I'm not talking about high quality bread or even cloud bunnies. I'm talking about big bread.
Do you like big bread and you cannot?
Jesse, this is
That's
one of
right.
those things where he's just going to keep saying big bread, and he's not going to explain what big bread is until later.
All y'all have sold out to big bread.
Yeah. Okay.
You're the one talking about big bread.
Exactly.
All right. Let's keep moving because we got to get through this episode.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. 'Cause
I like
we have
how-
a whole nother episode to talk
A
about.
whole nother. I like how the subtlety of like Mariner putting together that House of Cards looking thing at the
Yes,
beginning.
yeah.
It was all tense and then it fell apart, but it was just like a hologram, so
Yeah.
it like squished down, and then like Talin like subtly presses the button and it like goes back into place. That's called irony. What? Because you expect it to be.
what that is?
Yeah, because you expect it to do one thing, but then it does something else. You expect it to fall apart and go back together, but it's so easy to put back together, which makes you be like, wait a second, why was she so stressed out? Because the joke is it was making fun of that same activity.
I'm not sure that's irony.
It is irony,
but it is funny.
No, you've questioned my uses of irony before, and it is irony. So how something is versus how you expect it to be.
I thought that's just the definition of humor.
No, that's irony. Humor is funny because of irony.
Okay, all right.
Irony is what is the catalyst of humor.
Feedback.
And spectacles are the wait no.
Spectacles.
No, what is it like? What was the quote, Jesse?
Reason, spectacles of
Taste is the
taste is a spectacle of reason.
Yeah.
yeah.
Taste is the spectacles
No,
of
is it-
taste are the taste
Taste is the spectacle of
spectacles
reason.
as in like
Spectacles
the glasses.
Who
of
and who said that? Do you recall? It was an author.
It was
of it?
Rousseau.
Rousseau. Okay, all right.
Boimler was looking at Fleet magazine. Have you ever had to take?
Are we done with Tendi?
We can still teach. I was just gonna say that if you ever have to get a colonoscopy, you probably drink some of that Fleet juice the night before. It's called Fleet.
Do you get to read Fleet magazine?
And it clears you out. It's called Fleet. It's a gallon of liquid that clears your shit out.
The whole fleet.
Fleet,
comes
yeah,
through.
Fleet. And then
and
he had a
then-
magazine called The Fleet.
I've heard of a Fleet enema. Is that like a brand?
It's
of
probably
enema?
the same. It's probably the same company. Yeah.
All right.
Tendi.
I'll
Yeah, we're
look
talking
that
about
up.
Tendi.
Yeah, let's just finish up the Tendi stuff. So the old Orion ship is cool.
Yeah.
And the twist of it being a medical ship is great. It's another example of them building out Orion culture.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already had hints before that the Orions, just like the Klingons, the Klingons weren't always all warriors. And not that they are. Obviously, you can't run a society with all warriors, but you know what I mean. But the Orions, likewise, their culture of piracy
And
is
they're
not eternal.
They're a capitalist. They're still capitalists.
They're still capitalist. Well, I guess that was pretty easy to assume.
Well, that's kind of the like next episode they more clarify.
Yeah.
that
Well, I
point.
mean, it's just they're pirates.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
I mean, I guess you don't have to, you could be mercantile pirates. It doesn't have to technically be capitalism because capitalism is different than mercantilism, technically speaking. And especially if you're talking about neoliberal capitalism, which is a little bit different than industrial revolution style capitalism. But anyway.
Oh, tips. Teach me your ways, oh master.
That's for a different podcast. But I did like that this storyline was a very classic trope, but it was the trope of somebody trying to live in two worlds, two conflicting worlds, and
Kind of like how
having
the
trouble.
Cerritos was in a parallel universe, two worlds.
Yes,
Absolutely.
there is that thematic connection.
I don't know if they did that on purpose though.
Well, yeah, I think so because Tendi.
They didn't do that in the next episode.
Tendi's trying to maintain Starfleet ideals and attitudes.
Yeah, but they do that
while living in a Orion
but
environment.
they do that for the Shades of Green as well. But they don't
Yes.
have a
Yeah.
duality B plot in that one.
well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
We get to that.
Okay.
There's
Hold your
some interesting
horses.
stuff about that.
Hold your
the
butt.
Shades of Green. Okay.
I'll hold your butt.
You'll hold my butt? What?
It was great to see the Blue Orions or Orions from
Orions.
TAS's. They're from Star Trek: The Animated Series.
Blue Orions.
The pirate,
we did that one
the
somewhat
Pirates of
recently.
Orion.
Didn't they?
The Pirates of Orion.
Didn't they later on become like the Azure Orions? They became
Yes.
the Azure Orions.
Well, that's their family name.
They
is
named
Azure.
it
They changed it. There's a line about them changing their shit to Azure.
Yes.
Right.
We covered the Pirates of Orion in episode 182 of It's Got Star Trek.
We have that many episodes.
Along with the Jihad. So
Yeah, it says houses.
go back and check it out.
I
Houses.
didn't realize it was that far.
Houses Tendi and Azure. They're going by or houses Tendi and Azure. They're going by Azure now. Yeah, so they.
Yes.
It's new.
Yeah.
I was just proving it.
No. We
Evidence.
all agreed with you because I remembered it from the 2 times I watched this episode.
Evidence!
And the laughing gas bit was fun. Okay.
Totally.
So let's talk about the other story, the A story. Pretty straightforward duplicate story, but done very well, right? That's the
Yeah.
thing is Lower Decks is able to take storylines and do riffs on storylines that has previously been used in Star Trek and or sci-fi or fiction generally. But because they have great performers and great writers and great production design, etc., it's really tightly done. So I really enjoyed this story.
They had 3 moments where they spoke over each other. One was
Fascinating.
another was
My bones!
and then another was
Aye, Captain.
Yeah, no, that was
Aye,
fun.
Captain.
My bones!
Fascinating.
Also, here's another duplicate action that happened.
Duplicate.
They said the phrase or the pair of words covered in twice. They used that twice in 2 different parts. One was Mariner said, "So, Boimler stuck in the thing's mouth, totally naked and covered in slime." And then he shouts, and then later on, Rutherford says, "Well, Rutherford, you've shown me how dark my life could have been without Tendi around, and also that it's possible for a guy covered in gizmos to live in the vacuum of space." 2 covereds in.
Word.
And then fucking Erica had some weird line about like the ethics of goop. I did like
Erica.
Remember when she was like, "Oh, the ethics of goop"? She said like the ethics of goop. She was making fun of Tendi. This is totally unrelated, but it was.
And you didn't pull this audio?
I don't think I did, which is ridiculous.
I mean, it's a little ridiculous.
It is
You're-
pretty
you're, like,
ridiculous.
asking Jesse and I a question. But,
Yeah.
But we don't have immediate access.
Oh man, I fucked that up. Oh well, you can't get them all.
No, that's true. You can't.
Well,
Get the
that
holograms.
third part about Erica had nothing to do with the previous point, but I was reminded talking about things they were saying.
Yeah.
She was like talking about. Well, I'll tell you the line.
Okay.
I'll tell you the line, and then you can judge for yourself.
Okay. All right. You're looking it up on checotea.net? No, you're probably using
they don't have it on checotea.net.
Yeah.
They haven't updated that in a while.
Yeah.
It says, "Oh, I get it. You misdebating the ethics of goop with your Starfleet nerds." The ethics of that's what Erica said to Tendi when Tendi said, "My crew won't stop trying to stab everything." Oh, I get it. You misdebating the ethics of goop with your Starfleet nerds. The ethics of goop.
What was it that she said again?
Oh, I get it. You misdebating the ethics of goop with your Starfleet nerds. I can't believe I didn't take that line. Well, it doesn't matter. Who cares?
You performed it very well. Fleet Magazine's 30 Under 30.
Yeah.
This was interesting because Boimler expected to be
Boimler
in there.
effect.
All right, so Jesse's tapping his lighter but not playing the kalimba. We expressly gave him the kalimba to occupy his fingers.
Oh.
So there you go. There we go. Okay.
Incredible.
So I wonder why Boimler wasn't included. Because
Yeah.
he was expecting to be included. They don't really interrogate that in this episode, but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or even his like double.
I want to know why his double
His double was on the cover.
His double dropped the pad in space casually and let it float there, and he just left it there, and he never asked for it back.
Maybe he did that on purpose so that Boimler could have it and be inspired by him.
Or be jealous of him.
I mean, his other double from
his double seemed cool. Yeah, the double, so I like...
supposedly died. Like,
Oh, you
was
mean
the other
William
double.
Boimler.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't talking about him.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Why would you be talking about him? He had nothing to do with either of these episodes.
Well, he's saying he could have been, was he
He
in the
could have
30
been
under
in
30?
He could have been in the 30 under 30.
But he quote unquote died.
He was,
died.
yeah,
He
he could have,
died
but
it.
he could have gotten an honorable mention.
He died
along
it and
with,
went away.
Naomi Wildman.
So Ransom was basically like the same character.
He had
Just,
he had a mullet.
he had a mullet and stubble on his face. Like if there was clean cut hot Ransom, and then there's like sort of like slick slimy hot Ransom.
And which was your preference?
the slick
sexually?
slimy one?
Mine
maybe.
too.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
right?
But I like the whole.
Like without a question.
I like the whole gag about how like they couldn't decide which universe was like the good universe.
Yeah.
Because I've thought about that before, like watching
Because there's just a little bit different.
It's like, how do we
Just a
know?
little
Like,
bit.
what if we've been watching the alternate Lower Decks universe this whole time, and that was the normal one?
Right, exactly.
You know. Wait, there was also
Paul Scheer playing King Billups as a not virgin.
Right.
Which is funny because if you remember the deal
'Cause
with
he had a
Billups,
cape and shit.
the deal with Billups is that he comes from royalty. He's a prince, but as soon as he has sex with a partner, then he becomes king, and he doesn't want to be king,
Right.
so he has to remain celibate. But the alternate Billups is referred to as King Billups.
Yeah, and he's got a cape and like
and
a,
Paul Scheer,
a crowny thing, and he's all like, "Ugh."
you gotta hear how he changes his voice for
Yeah.
Billups because it's slight, but it is funny because he sounds a little bit more like this, and it's
Right.
kind of hilarious when you understand the context of why his demeanor would be different as King Billups versus regular old Chief Billups.
Dragon's blood.
Yeah.
there was two things about dragons actually.
Yes.
There was another dragons thing. It was
I don't know. Are you
He's
gonna
nuts.
play a tape? Or?
Oh man, I don't know what I'd do if my mom sent me a dragon.
I think that was the is that the other that was the other yeah
Yeah.
he like what's up with all the dragon shit? That was
It's because his
I
from
know,
that
I
weird
know.
planet,
comes from the
man.
fantasy planet.
I know, but it's like they keep mentioning it.
Yeah,
It's funny.
it is
I like
funny.
it was like he was out and then he caught fire again. But there was this part too. The
Pyrithian bat milk.
what does that sound like to you?
Bat milk.
A Pyrithian bat pissing into a glass.
This
Bat milk.
Yeah, the
I
the
wasn't
butt
ta-
milk. Oh yeah. I did think the first two times I watched this episode, I thought she was saying Pyrithian butt milk.
Bat milk.
But then
Butt milk.
then I rewound it, which was a frustrating process on Paramount Plus.
oh my god,
rewound it.
it's
But I was-
it's terrible. It's an adventure in
I know.
awfulness.
But I eventually got to hear it again and was like, that's
Paramount
Pyrithian bat milk.
Yeah, I noticed Boimler right away when they were in the conference room, all stroking his beard, all
Yes.
like looking all confident.
Oh,
and shit.
bearded Boimler was great because
Because he wasn't even a prick or anything. He was just like an awesome dude.
And he was Riker. He was acting like Riker. He even did a Riker maneuver with putting his leg over a chair at one point. He's got some
That's adorable.
sleepy, relaxed Riker eyes at a few points. Really, really hilarious. And we know that regular Boimler
Shax was like the same person.
idolizes Riker, so it makes sense.
He just had long hair.
Shax had a ponytail.
They
Otherwise, he was
go.
same.
They didn't go into his character too much, but
Yeah, it's
yeah,
pretty
but
much
he
the
was.
same.
It's pretty much the same. But yeah, that's an interesting point, Patrick. You said about how Becky how Mariner could become Becky because she goes over the top and shit. 'Cause,
It's like if she decided that she had to take control, she might go about it the wrong way. What was kind of interesting about this episode is that Mariner, Rutherford, and Boimler, they all get a chance to meet with their counterparts with versions of themselves who made slightly different decisions in life. Right?
The Rutherford one was all sad.
The Rutherford one was sad
because that was like almost a mirror universe one in the sense that Rutherford is like super like gregarious and like and you know just like. I guess that's the best word for it. But then this one had like no emotions whatsoever.
It was
just like
upsetting.
Yeah.
Well, so both Mariner and Rutherford.
He just let him go into his head and change his. Did you see that part where he Rutherford just let him poke at his head.
That's a function of his lack of affect. That's exactly the.
He's just apathetic.
No, he's not apathetic. It's he just doesn't care. Why? His emotions are tapped.
I mean, that's what apathy kind of means.
I don't know if apathy is.
It's not literally don't care, but it's kind of like it's in the same ballpark.
I could say. I know. I associate apathy more with depression as opposed to like lack of.
I see apathy as like not motivated to make a decision or like not concerned with the outcome of things.
See, I'm interested in this conversare you're interested in this conversation. Jesse's not interested in this conversation.
No, I'm interested, and I'm providing incidental music.
What are you doing?
So alternate Mariner. Okay, wait. First, what I was going to say is that Mariner and Rutherford, they are not happy with what they see. Rutherford of course does it in his happier Rutherford way, but they're not. They're like this is bad news. I've gotten a warning about myself, and it is helpful because it helps them change their attitude and thinking, which we see more in the next episode. Boimler, he gets to see a better version of himself. It's the reverse. And he's inspired by that. And you kind of think like, oh, is this guy going to be a dickhead? The bearded Boimler? It's like, no, he's an awesome, helpful dude the whole time.
And they did a good job, at least for me, watching it, feeling like that same question was popping into my head. Is this guy going to turn out to suck in some major way? And he never did. And that was cool.
Yeah, right.
I thought that was a really smart move.
I like their solution for getting out of the thing. It was like classic, like Star Trek kind of like somewhat arbitrary method of like device for getting out.
Yes.
They flipped each other over top of each other. But you notice they weren't mirror images of each other.
They were pointing the other direction
just,
because they were in conflict. So
yeah, so that was
kind of made sense.
It was kind of funny. It was creative in this kind of like, yeah, why not? Let's
alternate Mariner had a writing crop like Captain Styles from Star Trek 3, which was great.
Yeah.
I couldn't decide if it would have been like entertaining at all to have Becky like have a couple episodes with Becky like going incognito in the other universe, but
Becky.
you know, I'm fine with that not happening.
It made more sense that she couldn't pull it off.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious that they were just treating it as like a workaday, like, God damn it, these aggravating mirror universe scenario.
Like they could tell.
Do you know how hacky that is?
They could tell automatically, like she was like mother.
I really like that.
Brenda Mundo.
Okay.
Brenda Mundo.
I was confused though, like why was she saying why was she saying her mom's name all awkwardly? Like she's still Mariner.
But she hadn't seen her mom in a while because her mom was sent off to Starbase 80. I
guess.
guess.
I don't
That's the
know.
argument.
Dun dun dun.
But
She would have been more like, "Hey, Mom, I missed you."
The sarcastic Vulcan salute redux that was like in the first episode, you know, it was like, that was funny. I did like seeing our Mariner put in the position of being on the receiving end of that.
Totally.
And then the last thing about this storyline, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure at the end when Boimler's looking at the Fleet magazine that he smuggled from the other dimension and he sees that bearded Boimler made the cover, I think he says he made the fracking cover. It could be that he said freaking, but I don't think so. I think he said fracking, Battlestar Galactica style. And I'd like to believe and think that Mike McMahon et al. Would want to honor Ron Moore and Battlestar Galactica
Well,
more
let's just pretend that that's what the truth is.
Oh, because are you looking up the?
No, I just was saying like we might as well just not because I was saying it's easy. You could look it up right now.
But you are the one with access to the transcript.
You have access just as well as I do.
No, but you actually have it loaded up because you referenced it repeatedly earlier in this episode.
How do you know I didn't close it after I was done with it?
That's a good point. We'll discuss that over the break.
Don't do that.
We'll sort that out over the break because we do have to take a break.
Do we want to mention any Kayshawn lines?
Yeah, we'll wrap up Dos Cerritos when we get back from the break.
Not Dos
with
Cerritos.
some lines about Kayshawn.
Dos Cerritos.
Okay.
Doritos.
And like that, we'll be right back.
Hey, wait up, party people.
Wait, that's not what I meant to play.
All right. How about this? Hey, we'll be right back.
Good luck, sir.
I don't know, something new.
I liked it.
Alrighty, folks, we have returned.
Whoa! Hey! Hi!
Welcome back.
Hi.
It's the third and final break. It's got Star Trek Podcast.
My bones!
And we're talking about
Dragon's blood.
Lower Decks, but not talking about Dos Cerritos anymore. Whoa, wait. We are going to talk about the Kayshawn stuff, but then we're going to talk about the next.
Doesn't this sound like out of like Street Fighter or something when they do a special move?
Dragon's blood.
It's like Philip's Street Fighter character right before he throws a dragon at someone, he goes,
Dragon's blood. Dragon's blood.
It's also got some sort of like auditory ear needles.
Yeah, ear needles. You gotta have the ear needles.
You know, where it's like,
Who's that guy that what happened to that guy that like is like the Billups look-alike? We haven't seen him in a while.
Lundy. They reference Lundy.
It's the other guy that has a crush on.
Yeah, Lundy. He's in the transporter room.
There's Lundy too.
He was in this episode.
We don't see him, but Captain Freeman calls to him and says Lundy when she has him beam the.
He's the beamy guy.
He switches Mariner and Mariner. In the Dos Cerritos. Anyway, you were saying quickly. Let's close the loop with your Kayshawn business.
So there was a console fire on the bridge, and like one
Kayshawn played by Carl Tart,
and one of Kayshawns was trying to put out the console fire, and he was having problems with it, and the other one was.
Where else do they have console fire?
Okay, so
he's just like introducing an entirely new subject in the middle of my.
I'm with you on that one, Dan. I mean, oftentimes I'm on Jesse's side, but that was amazing.
It's just a rhetorical.
Well,
amazing. Dan was in all ways in the text of his speech, in the manner of his physical composure, in the flow. It was clear. He was in the middle of a crescendo to a point.
I was like talking about Kayshawn. And then Jesse starts asking me about where else they've had console fires. I was like, no, that's not the subject of this discussion.
Okay, I'm gonna listen then.
You can ask me after I'm done.
It's amazing.
You could ask me after that, and I'd be happy to talk about that.
Okay,
but
maybe.
It's impressive.
Okay. So Keishan was trying to put out a console fire. He's having problems doing it. Then
You're talking so fast.
well, because I'm trying to make up for lost time.
Oh, fair point. Okay.
Then the other Keishan, who's frustrated with the other one's inability to put out the fire, says, he's all mad. He goes, Gramble, his throat slit by his mistress. And then the one who is having trouble, Gramble, yeah. Then the other one who's having trouble responds with, what? Kadir beneath Momota.
Momota?
Yeah, Momota.
Is Momota a name?
Mo space Mota. Gramble, his throat slit by his mistress. That means he's mad. What? Kadir beneath Momota. That means he's like, I'm doing the best I can, or he's like, "What's your problem?" Or like, "Come on, chill out."
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how to translate this language.
Your suggestions sound reasonable.
Okay, and then there was one more where Becky was mad because she was like, "Your Temerian started the fight. Take him to the brig."
Your Temerian.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
That is fucked up. Mariner says, "How about I bleeping don't?" And then Becky says, "Then how about I toss your whole crew in the brig?" And King Billip says, "She'll do it. Our Cerritos is mostly brigs." And then one of the Keishan says, Kailash, when it rises, because he's the one getting taken to the bridge. So Kailash, when it rises, is him submitting and being like, let's take the high road. Let's just, I'll do what's needed to be done.
That makes sense. I had not interpreted it that way, but I like that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Right
Trying to
on.
understand this. What is this language? The Temerian language, yeah.
Temerian language. Metaphor. Good old
Darmok.
metaphors. Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. All right. Good. So,
Good.
closes down our discussion of the very good Dos
Cerritos
season premiere, and we'll move along home to Shades of Green.
Shades of Green, eat some peen.
It's like Shades of Grey, but so much better.
Yeah.
The title was also a double entendre of sorts, as it applies to both the Orion skin coloring and the color of money on Targalis 9.
Duality.
As well as the U.S. Yes. Shades of Green.
Shades of Green.
Told you we would, new listeners, that counts as an insight, I think.
Except gray is spelled Gray and green is spelled Green.
Wait, no. Shades of Grey, isn't it with an E?
No,
isn't
it's
it
not.
R-E?
It's not.
Shades of Grey, the TNG episode, is spelled with an A?
It's spelled with an A, yeah.
Because I prefer the A spelling, but that's the European English.
I know.
I prefer the
English.
E spelling.
Well, I was secretly hoping it would be Grey because that's why I looked it up, because I was hoping it would be with the E, because then it would be similar to green, or Gre and Gre. But this way it's Gra and Gre. Green, Gray instead of Green, Grey.
You're off the hook.
He's off the reservation.
Once! And only in like an extremely crazy circumstance.
It's possible that saying off the reservation is offensive. I don't know.
Maybe.
I will look it up after we finish this
If
recording.
it is, then we're
This is like the third one this month.
All right. Yes.
We're usually not that offensive.
Shades of Green. This one.
Eat some peen.
This one has This is more of a clearer. Like the other one was a very well balanced AA plot, whatever you want to call it. This is
That's like the structure of a song.
This
AA.
This is an ABC structure. Very clearly, there's like Tendi's story is like the main A story, and then you have the B plot, which is the fun, no money, no problems business, and then the C plot, which is only a few scenes, a few very good scenes, is slow rolling with provisional ensign to Lynn.
They also had said no cash accepted. The shirts, Mariner's shirt said no cash accepted, and Boimler's shirt said no money, no problem.
Yeah, I really love the no money, no problems.
Yeah.
You want to start with that storyline? Because that was a fun. That was a fun storyline.
Let's do it.
Okay.
They're like burning their money and melting down their money.
Well, it's
yeah. They were like meditating on like a rug of gold bars.
Yes. What's great? One of the great things that Lower Decks has been able to do, what other Star Trek shows have been unable or unwilling to do, is address some of the problems that certain Star Trek concepts, are associated with.
That is correct.
The whole second contact concept.
For example, the transition from being a capitalist society to a post-scarcity society. And when you think about it, you're like, okay, how exactly, there's a number of different ways that could work, but how exactly would that kind of most commonly work? And how would the Federation assist in that?
Well,
and we get to see hints of that here where it's kind of ridiculous because it's just like, oh yeah, just bring all your gold and jewels and we're going to just dump them in
There's
a
a bunch
fucking
of
fire.
replicators.
I thought that was actually really creative of them to approach that stuff, because they
absolutely.
never talked about that transition, the actual transition.
That's what I'm getting at.
True.
But
Yeah.
it's simultaneously offering an explanation and doing at least a light examination of that process
Yeah.
while also kind of pointing out how ridiculous it is, like with the image that you just noted of the meditating on a bunch of gold bars. Because by the way, not comfortable. Why would you want to be doing some meditation yoga
Gold
on
is really
gold
hard.
bars?
Yeah. Actually, gold is a softer metal.
It is,
It's
but
still
it's still
fucking
like
hard.
a metal.
Yeah, it's still metal.
What's up,
Oh, tips. Teach me your ways, oh master. Oh.
I like how he was like had this hover bike or whatever, and they were just like, I'll just replicate another one.
Yeah,
I thought that was
that's
funny.
like,
but don't they have replicator rations? Don't they have rations? I thought they had
No,
replicator.
we hear that mostly on Voyager. You hear,
Yeah.
and you hear that
Voyager.
with people in the academy with transporter rations and
Yeah, I mean,
replicator
for the
rations.
longest time,
that's a function of energy and matter to draw from
Right.
with which
Well, yeah.
to produce them.
Obviously, it's they're drawing the energy from somewhere, and I was always under the impression that it was exactly what they say, post scarcity, so they don't have to worry about that shit. But then every once in a while, you hear them talk about. Every once in a while, they talk about like, oh, rations, and so I'm always.
If your matter stores are low,
I'm more wondering about.
poop.
I'm more.
I mean, Jess is right. It is poop.
I'm more wondering about. I'm less wondering about the infinite rations and more wondering about the limited rations. I have a problem with them saying there's rations.
I think the rations is always in the scenario of either being on a ship and or being junior and in some,
Well, it's
in
all
some
about those
controlled,
Stuck in the fucking
controlled
Delta
environment. I think if you're on a planet that's post-scarcity and has industrial replicators, probably you can get what you need.
Well, it's all about
at
those
any
dilithium
time.
crystals, right?
Well, that's
Isn't
the
that what-
warp. That's the warp.
But don't the dilithium crystals also like power shit? Don't they convert dilithium crystal power into shit?
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't know. Who gives a shit? It doesn't really fucking
Maybe
matter.
that's trilithium.
I also thought it was kind of interesting how they were talking about they opened up a bunch of like museums, like they without capitalism they have like all this art and museum stuff now.
The stock exchange turned into like a animal hospital.
Yeah, no, and they were talking about the
Museum of Friendship.
Yeah, which is a nice joke. Capitalism is over, so let's focus on the Museum of Friendship.
I like that there was a shop because obviously there were still shops in the main town drag there, whatever the main street was, and a sign on one of the shops said "Pay more for less," which is just basically describing the current state of retail commerce in certainly in the United States, but I expect in many places in the world. Pay more for less.
So the deal with this is Boimler is now
Boimler's Bointers.
Now Boimler is inspired by
Boimler.
other Boimler.
Bearded Boimler.
Okay. Yes, Boimler is inspired by other Boimler.
Bearded Boimler.
Yes, Boimler is inspired by bearded Boimler, and so now he's trying to be like more. He's realizing he needs to change up his role because like he's. In order to be more like that Boimler, he's got to be different. So he's trying to be all like easygoing and like cool Boimler, but that ends up making him more uptight in the end. Like the whole like relaxed Boimler ends up fucking.
So
him up
you're
even more.
suggesting it's kind of like The Big Lebowski.
I didn't say that.
But you're suggesting it.
I didn't, not explicitly or implicitly.
Well, I might suggest it then, because
Then why didn't you just say that?
One of the gags of The Big Lebowski.
Why didn't you just say that?
I'm just saying one of the gags in The Big Lebowski is that the Big Lebowski, or that
Stop f***ing around.
the dude who's not Lebowski, that the dude is chill. Right? He's a chill guy, but throughout the movie, he just gets increasingly more agitated. Whereas the person who is played, John Goodman's character, who is portrayed as being a complete lunatic, he's actually the one who's kind of stable and mostly correct throughout. Most of what he says is true.
That wasn't really the point I was making, because like the Big Lebowski, he's just a chill dude that gets more and more stressed out. In this case, Boimler is naturally uptight. He was trying to become more cool and less uptight, but that actually caused him more stress in the end.
So in that case, maybe there's very little relationship.
And there wasn't a
of
John
The Big
Goodman
Lebowski.
type character who was getting more and more chill over time.
And there
either.
wasn't a Steve Buscemi
Or the nihilists.
You just wanted to talk about the Big Lebowski.
Remember the nihilists?
Yes, the nihilist was great. One of them was Flea.
Yeah, Flea.
They cheated!
So yeah.
Capitalism.
So right. So there's Grom. Grom was the
Boimler's Bointers.
There's Grom who was no, or is it Garm? Is it Garm or Grom? There's Mackler, who's just the dude-looking dude, and Gorm. Gorm is the guy with the beard and like the bottom fangs.
Is he Tellarite?
I don't know what kind of person they are.
Remember, Boimler's Bointer number 3, lift with the legs, and your spine will be fine. Boimler's Bointer number 16, always research flora and fauna on a new planet. You never know what might be trying to kill you. Bointer number 17, I always set a rendezvous point in case we get separated.
Is one of them like drink a bunch of water?
No, he's
Make
just
sure
they
you
just
get a bunch of sleep.
they just
You should pee. You should pee like light yellow.
they
Make sure your pee is the proper color.
there was only 3 of them, 3, 16, and 17.
Bat milk.
Yeah, the Bointers.
Did you see that Boimler's trying to grow a beard? Of course
Yeah.
you did. I don't know why I phrased it that way. That's crazy. It's a crazy thing for me to say. It's funny that he's trying to grow a beard. And
Is it a bug?
it is also funny that it's all feeble, where alternate Boimler, who's not that much different, has a thick, bushy Riker beard.
Thank you for the pointer.
I
And
love a
it's
good
purple.
pointer.
Purple beard.
I love a good pointer.
Purple beard.
Is it a bug?
Anything else about the B story? No money, no problems.
You got a pointer for this?
It was fun. It was slight. There was still some character development for both Boimler. He learned a little bit.
They were in a sky-
and Mariner learned a little bit too.
I didn't realize until the later part of the episode they were in a sky town. Like when they were going across a bridge,
especially
and it was
the rich people in particular.
I like that idea. There was the elite, the terrorist elites or whatever,
Yes.
and they were mad because like they couldn't be like in power and they couldn't be better than everyone or quote unquote better than everyone or in their mind.
And we would be remiss. So I'm glad we brought it up.
They weren't of the
We
elitist class.
would indeed be remiss if we did not comment on the funny repurposed robots,
Elitist terror cells.
like the gardener.
Oh,
the
yeah.
gardener robot, and then the cleaning robots. That was a fun gag. Although
Filthy, must clean.
in a true capitalist society, as we know, the rich people have armies of hired mercenaries, and it would be much more terrible, and they would have all manner of ways to protect their power.
I am in distress.
Were they to try to do so.
It wouldn't be funny at all.
It would not be funny.
Is this Agamus?
I am in distress.
Is that the same voice as Agamus?
Similar.
I am in distress.
I don't believe it's Jeffrey Combs because.
Oh, was it Jeffrey Combs? Oh, never
Jeffrey
mind.
Combs did Agamus, so I doubt.
No,
that
you're
they
probably
would've-
you're probably right.
But
I just
you
said
never know.
You just never know.
You never
Totes
know.
ridiculous.
You never
Whatever.
know.
Who cares?
Thanks, Agamus.
Whoops.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say, sir.
Say sounded similar to me.
It does sound similar, but I think we can move along home to Tendy's business.
Was there any other point about that? Now, I guess
I
there
don't
wasn't
think so.
much else.
I don't think
say.
so. I think it's time to talk about Tendy's business.
There's talk about Tendy's business.
Yes, is it wing slug rolls? Was that what they were eating?
Wing slug roll.
I couldn't tell if it was winged slug rolls or wing slug rolls.
The wing slug rolls.
My captions told me the wing.
Is it
The wing slug rolls.
It's a classic game
It was
of
wing
or winged.
Wing hyphen slug.
I just had a few too many slug rolls.
I think it's a wing slug roll.
It's wing hyphen slug roll.
Yes.
That's my
The
guess.
wing slug rolls.
They were all like playing together, like all joking around, and she threw her wing slug rolls at her, and they just fell everywhere. And those things look greasy as fuck.
Exactly.
rich-
they
they're
were
rich
They were
kids.
big and greasy.
They're
Yeah,
rich kids.
thick.
Rich kids are wasteful.
Like
But
how
no,
many of
I
those?
was-
How many of those can you eat at once?
I was thinking less.
Can you eat a whole bag of those?
I was less-
even if you're not pregnant.
I was less concerned about the wastefulness and more concerned about the fact that they were greasy fucking slug wing rolls.
Rich people have servants, then they don't care
No,
about
yes.
making the servants
No,
clean,
if anything,
clean up the carpet.
they care about staining their nice carpet and shit.
They have
Maybe Orions don't care about.
So you
They have
can't
confidence in their servants.
You
to
can't
get rid of the stains.
you can't get rid of every stain. It's not possible.
I agree with you, Dan. I'm suggesting that as much as we like Tendi, the fact is that Devana Tendi
They're pirates.
and Erica Tendi are in some ways spoiled brats.
I would
And
think
they're pirates,
that
man.
I would think that
Arr.
I would think most people draw the line at throwing greasy, nasty, sluggy things around the
I
room.
think you're putting your culture on Orion
Oh,
culture.
get the fuck out of here with that.
That's projecting.
Shut up. Shut up.
Don't project it on the pirate culture.
Man, I thought you were fun.
Okay, so fundamental plot of this AA story is that, and we've seen hints of this before, where Tendi means well, right? She means well, but it is another example of her jumping to a conclusion without bothering to communicate with the person
Hey, remember that
she's concerned about.
Remember that movie Office Space, and they had to jump to conclusions, Matt?
Yeah. The guy had to jump to conclusions.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, Tendi was taking a lot of liberty
quite a
over
movie.
like Erica's choice of how she was going to handle herself.
Well, and this is not new with Tendi.
It was almost
she is a carer. She's in medicine because she cares for people, but it can also be a flaw because she's nosy and she doesn't communicate with the person she cares about. She makes assumptions. She makes a series of assumptions. Jesse's making
Am
a
I
series
dying?
of coffee.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm okay.
She makes a series of assumptions that which are wrong, right? Yeah, and it leads her to do things that cause trouble not only for herself but for the people she supposedly cares about.
And this plot was actually more similar to, it would have made more sense, and I feel like I've seen similar plots, but in the case of where Tendi knew that Erica was pregnant, but Erica didn't know that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
That's what it more seemed like, where like Erica was like freewheeling because she's like, I don't got nothing to worry about. She's not aware that she's pregnant, and Tendi was protecting her without telling her.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened. Like they both knew she was pregnant. So it was really weird that she. Yeah, but if you're right, I guess that's
Like
Tendi's character.
I know part of the answer is like, well, there'd be no story, but Tendi could have read the log, and when Erica came in, Tendi could have just been like, I'm sorry, I'm a bitch. I totally read your log.
A headache, a splinter.
Whoops. Sorry.
I mean, I do dig that episode, that particular episode of Strange New Worlds. It's a bit of a non sequitur.
I was looking
in
for
this context.
I was looking for this.
Damn it, I can't even make a log entry.
Sorry, but that was a stray finger swipe.
So, Tendi could have simply taken the opportunity since Erica walked in to say, okay, I'm sorry. I was looking at your diary, but I saw that you're pregnant. What's the deal with that? And just sort of asked her about it if she was concerned or
Not
whatever.
Astrid, asked her.
Or if she was not into asking at that moment or still embarrassed. See, the problem is there's a certain level of selfishness because she found out the information because she abrogated the privacy of Erica's logs, right? That's already a problem that she invaded Erica's privacy.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's protecting herself because of her guilt at invading her privacy.
Yep,
Instead of sort of having the guts to be like, I shouldn't have found out this piece of information, but I did. I'm going to admit it right now. I've got the opportunity because she walked in, she caught me almost red-handed. I might as well just admit it. But that's a character flaw that Tendi has, and we've seen variations on this before, so it fits in with her character. Hopefully she's starting to learn some lessons about, hey, maybe talk to people if you have concerns, because with her and with Rutherford and with a few other scenarios, she's made the same mistake and just caused a bunch of troubles.
Interestingly, back to the Mirror episode, Tendi in both universes became a space pirate.
Yes. Because it was an almost identical universe. Slight differences.
Yeah.
Very slight differences.
So I don't remember. They haven't explicitly had any kind of romantic stuff between Tendi and Rutherford, but at this point it seems like accepted.
Been heading in that direction.
It seems like Rutherford is so destroyed by Tendi leaving that seems like
it is plausible to have that same kind of reaction with a platonic, deep relationship.
Obviously, I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying
I think a lot of us are hoping.
I mean, there's been a pattern of behavior.
A lot of us are hoping
a pattern of behavior
for something to work out.
Pattern of behavior
between them.
So Rutherford was all working on that shuttle, and he was pissed because T'Lyn all finished it too fast.
He could have totally gotten with T'Lyn instead.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I mean, I'm not 100% sure that's what she was going for.
But wasn't
trying to be friendly?
Wasn't that shuttle? That's an ongoing thing, isn't it?
The Sequoia shuttle. Yeah.
In the Doppler effect, or what's it called? The Doppler, the Duple effect, or what was that?
The Dupplers, yeah.
The Duples.
Yeah, Doppler. The Doppler.
Doppler, the Doppler.
Yeah, it's the Doppler.
What's that episode called?
It's called Double Doppler. Double Doppler on
An
duty.
embarrassment of Dopplers.
Dupplers.
Dopplers.
An embarrassment.
Double Doubler
Okay,
on you.
I was watching that and I was like, because Rutherford was explaining to Talin how the fun was like building it with Tendi.
Yeah.
He was having a project with her, so he didn't want to complete it. And I was like, there was another episode where there was that same line, and it was the same shuttle, right? It's the same project.
Well, the same shuttle, but also they were building
doing models.
They were doing models of like Deep Space Nine and stuff.
Oh, maybe
and
that was it.
they decided to slow roll that.
So it was two different things. It was many things. They have several ongoing projects.
Multiple
They
different
have
things,
many projects that they don't want to finish.
And as we're talking about this storyline, I enjoyed this whole episode. I liked everything, all the storylines. This was my favorite part, even though it was the smallest part, because it was very touching. It was somewhat predictable. I think you knew by the end of it, you could probably guess halfway through, if not earlier, that it was going to end with Talin taking the shuttle apart in some fashion. Once she realizes what the purpose of the shuttle is. But I like the idea of Talin both trying to help out Rutherford. She sees Rutherford's in pain and she's trying to offer him a healthier distraction than he's been relying on because he's been doing the whole workaholic thing, which is not working out. And it's also somewhat, it's a little bit selfish. Maybe selfish is not the right term, but self-interested in that she also wants to make friends with these people and deepen her relationships. And this is how she's going about it.
She's still kind of the new.
And I really don't mean selfish. I just mean that it is mutually beneficial to like try to help this guy.
And it's kind of another disappointment about it not going on another couple seasons is I would have liked to have more time to sort of develop Talin's character.
Exactly.
And did you notice at the end, Gucci was helping her?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Gucci, the good version of Badgie.
He was lurking behind there.
I didn't notice that.
He was helping her take the thing apart, and then he was hiding.
Yeah, totally.
When Rutherford came,
he was hiding.
Kind of ducks down and hides. Also, if you look closely on the shuttle, where they sort of write Sequoia, and then there's also the part where they have the little stick figure drawings of the four main characters of Mariner, Boimler, Tendi, and Rutherford, and a little figure of Talin has been added.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know if she did that or Rutherford.
Okay.
But somebody added a little Talin, a fifth character, to it. So that was very cute. But the whole thing was super sweet. I really enjoyed that. And you're right, Dan. This is the kind of thing I'm going to be missing about Lower Decks, is because not only do they have these fun, interesting stories and riffs on existing Star Trek stuff, but they have so much good sort of Deep Space Nine style, like steady but slow rolling character development.
I wonder how much, if any, of a role Erica's going to play in. Like, we don't know. Obviously, it'd be interesting to see if there's still more of that plot going on.
I bet she'll be back. I bet she'll be back.
I like how I always love that whole.
Why don't you marry it? I'm sorry. It's towards the end of the podcast, and I'm a child. I apologize.
I always love how in space shows, there's always that analogy between like spaceships and boats. Like it's all just like the same thing.
It's the same, exactly,
so they had that whole space sail ship thing.
Right.
And they even talking about sprits, like jettisoning the sprit. A sprit is some kind of boat thing. It's like a pole or something that holds up the thing on a boat.
Did you learn that in New England?
No, I didn't. I don't.
On your summers, when you're summering in New England and riding yachts around?
I generally don't boat.
You get out on the bay.
Just hang out in the woods.
Did you? And also, like,
set sail.
Did you notice that they had the Orions had some kind some kind of laser harp?
Okay, all right.
I'm explaining it.
I will retract my statement.
I'm saying.
Okay. Take it easy, boys.
Okay,
they had some kind of laser harpoon gun. It was like a laser harpoon. But then
I did notice.
But then the Orions, they had like a real harpoon gun. And would they catch like a comet or something? I wasn't clear on what it is that.
Something like that. I don't know. Whatever.
It was wild business.
And then there was that. And then what's her name? What was her name? Sabor, who was like the pirate queen. She was all.
Yeah.
She was all talking about all pissed off because blazzard noise.
I was like, Dan has to have that whatever that creature was. That
blazzard noise.
It was so funny. It works so great with the animation because the sound is funny, but the animation, the creature looks so silly.
I know.
It's all like, woo!
Yeah, that's cool.
A cutiny. It was a cutiny.
Yeah,
that was funny too.
It's a cutiny. A cutiny. Bat milk.
So we learn a lot about Orion culture even more, and this is Lower Decks has been a great opportunity to do that.
Oh, I want to cuddle that baby.
She says that's so weird.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to cuddle that baby. Oh, I want to cuddle that baby. I want to cuddle that baby.
We resolved the Tendi plot, at least mostly. As you noted, Dan, we're not sure how much her sister or family or others will play into the rest of the season. But
We can barely afford to feed our blazzards.
we'll find out. Some people online have noted that there's sort of a meta point. Maybe not point. Point's not there. A meta observation the episode makes, which is sort of the absurdity of capitalism in when any sort of post-scarcity society exists, because the Orions have access to all the modern technology, they have replicators, etc. Yet they still value gold.
Yeah, right.
So Erica and Tendi's...
You were going to say Tendi.
Erica and Devana's family problem is essentially solved because Tendi realizes, this whole planet is getting rid of all its gold and jewels because they don't need it anymore. We can hire my sister to actually process it, and that'll just make them rich again.
They describe themselves as a wealth disposal service.
Yes, exactly, right? That's hilarious, right?
Or the people...
But it's also stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
The resistance people that, like, when they figured out they couldn't win, they were like, let's, like, figure out how to eat mud.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, we can't do capitalism, so we're not going to join like the nice civilization. We're gonna like go back to like
we're still gonna differentiate ourselves because that's and I think it was you, maybe you said it earlier, Jesse, that the whole deal is they're mad that they're not going to be better than other people.
The elitists,
right? And the thing is, so there's a great book by the very famous sociologist Pierre Bourdieu called Distinction. Big, thick book, crazy translation.
That's really nice.
But the very, very brief thesis statement of the book is basically that there's a cycle of cultural change that happens that's driven by the desire of the elites to differentiate themselves from the lower classes by costume, by behavior, by their entertainments.
Language.
But that over time, the middle class and to some degree the lower and working classes, they desire to access similar entertainments, and then eventually they gain access to those. And then so that drives the upper class to change their behavior, change their entertainments, and you can track this cycle like rich people. You used to have to be a lord to hear classical music, to have a quartet come and play in your house or even a full orchestra. But eventually you could go hear them and the public could hear them.
Go to the theater.
And then the rich people got bored of the classical music and they started getting to other stuff. Same thing happened when museums came around. It used to be to see art, you had to go see it in a private collection. But when museums were invented, the public could access them, and then rich people got into art that wouldn't fit in a museum or that museums weren't interested in.
This isn't fair!
And it would be interesting to see how that same cycle plays out, if at all, in the transition to a post-scarcity society.
Hell yeah!
I just thought that was a hilarious point to make at the end of the podcast.
It looked pretty funny.
Pierre Bourdieu, Distinction.
Well, I thought it was funny when when the ship landed, the sail ship landed on that asteroid or whatever, and in the background, one of them picked up like an asteroid rock, and she like tossed it away, but there was like no gravity, so it just like floated away.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it just floats away. Also, at the end, at the very end, I don't know what caused the Blue Orions suddenly became all submissive to Erica.
Oh, they got hired. The implication.
They got hired.
Yeah,
okay.
because they lost their money too. They lost their money.
I just had a few too many slug rolls.
Erica's family lost their money, except Erica's family now has money because they got all these jewels from
and they're clever
operating this. Yeah, exactly.
Bat milk.
The Orions is the Orion.
All right. Any last final points?
The
final.
The Blue Orions.
Green Orions.
My bones!
Fascinating.
Aye, Captain.
There's one duty or no duty.
Okay, let's lay it on us. And new listeners, let me just give you a heads up. New listeners, especially if you're still listening, you're gonna fucking love this shit. This is one of Dan's specialties. Duty or no duty.
Yep.
Oh, okie dokie.
All right, here we go. Duty or no duty. There's only one. But I have a full version and a short version.
And while you're doing great, we think you should sorta be relieved of duty.
Short, let's play the short.
Relieved of duty? Relieved of duty?
To me, it's very clear. Jesse, what do you think?
No duty.
No duty.
Relieved of duty?
I'm shocked because I think that's very clearly...
You think it's a clear duty?
It's a clear duty.
That's a clear duty.
That's a duty.
They might need to see a doctor, it's so clear.
Maybe I'll call the doctor.
The horrifying image you've conjured.
It's a magical duty.
I will slap you with the bill, asshole.
What?
Play it again.
Relieved of duty? And while you're doing great, we think you should sorta be relieved of duty.
Yeah,
Never been a more duty.
it's arguable.
Anyway,
It's not that arguable.
well done.
Aw.
Okay, last chance. Last chance. Any final points about this? Listen to the other episode. Okay. It's important. Physician, amuse thyself. All right.
Acute me.
Next week, we will continue our weekly coverage of Lower Decks Season 5 with Episode 3 titled The Best Exotic Nanite Hotel.
Oh no, whatever shall we do?
Which, of course, is a parody title from The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. All right, that got no reaction from my co-host.
Oh no, Jesse was playing a thing.
He's playing,
I've heard of
kalimba.
it, but I don't.
He's playing a kalimba.
I haven't seen it.
I do.
Oh, thanks for correcting
on behalf of Dan and Jesse, this is Patrick. I want to thank all the new listeners who joined us this week.
Thanks, guys.
And specifically, if you have made it this far so that you're hearing this, thanks. You are a good candidate for listening to us again next week.
Thank you for the pointer.
Yeah, and give us a review, and I'll make you a haiku.
And Dan will do a bespoke haiku
on Apple iTunes or whatever.
It can be Apple Podcast Addict, whatever. Write the review and then email us at feedback@discussstartrek.com to let us know that you wrote the review, and then we will write the haiku in response to the
there's no review, and there's just an FU.
Yes,
damn.
Yeah, precisely.
Cerium krillide cells. That was from a TNG episode.
But yes, you can listen to us again next week. If you can't wait until next week, why not go back in our feed?
Why not?
And we have covered each and every single season of Lower Decks, first season onward. So you can listen to all our Lower Decks coverage or whatever else you want to listen to. Listen to last week's episode. That was good. We did Hide and Q. That was a fun episode.
Dude, did you know that this episode Dude.
Just gnarly, man.
Did you know this episode mentions cerium krillide cells? There's also krellium torpedoes. Do you think they're related?
Probably not. All right. That does it for us. You can find us on social
That does it for us, sir.
media.
We are done talking to you.
At It's Got Star Trek on social media. All the
Sometimes my nostrils
regular
look aggressively flared.
We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. That's always fun.
Clickety click.
Okay.
We put the podcast up with a static image. It's great. It's
Whoa. Are you okay?
Feedback at StarTrek.com. I already said.
That is correct.
www.itsgotstartrek.com is the website.
This is terrible.
And one cool thing, again, if you're new, you might not know. At the website, you can sort by series, so that if you're only interested in hearing our coverage of a certain series, like Lower Decks or DS9, whatever,
DS nuts,
you can click on it, and it'll show you. You can play those episodes, or it'll at least show you the number to look up in the podcast feed. Okay,
What is this trickery?
that does it for us this week. We will talk to you next week. With that, goodbye.
Show's over. Get back to work.
Are you proposing a mutiny? Yes, but a gentle, supportive mutiny. Acute me.